Okay, let's get going. Here we are. First off, we have both Avish. Are you there?
I'm here.
And we have Bill DeWeese on the line. Bill, how are you?
Greetings. Fine, thank you.
And since both of us, all of us would admit and agree to the fact that Bill is the hardest working man in voiceovers, we'll allow him to go first.
Absolutely.
Thanks. The hot seat, huh?
Yeah. So hey, tell me tell me about the event tomorrow night. So tomorrow night you're doing a teleseminar or a webinar?
Yeah. Well, it's a webinar,
Okay.
a live video broadcast. It will be my first ever for this business, so I'm very excited about that. It's 1 hour, going to be about an hour long,
Uh-huh.
and I positioned it as my holiday gift
Okay.
to everyone.
And
And
what are they going to get in during that event, during that time with you?
it's entitled "Small Steps to a Big Voiceover Business in 2012." So I'll be outlining some strategy that they can implement, and if done consistently over the next year, could see big dividends.
Got it. And so let's see here. Now, is this a free event or is it paid?
This is free,
Okay.
and my list is about 300 people, and I've had about 80 people respond.
Okay. And so what's the free for the webinar? And
All
so
right.
what are we doing to pitch to make money here?
Well, I've got several things coming up that I will be talking about. There's certainly the one-on-one coaching, and I'm also going to be pitching the 3-day, one-person event, multiple-day, 5-person event. And as a matter of fact, I alluded to it in a video that I recorded today, and I've already had 3 or 4 responses.
What did you allude
So,
to? The one-on-one or the 3-day one person?
to the one-on-one,
Okay.
because I figure I can always funnel them down to the 3-day or the 2-day 5-person.
Yep. And
You
so
know,
now what about the other products? I would mention and have
well,
websites go up for those. So the
I
voiceover
do.
playbook.
Yes, I've got voiceoverplaybook.com, and I'll also be promoting audiobooksuccess.com. I will also be promoting, I have a 2-day audiobook workshop coming up in February and a 2-day voiceover marketing workshop coming up in April, and those will all be promoted.
Yeah, I mean, I would try and
What is the greatest
make it.
need of
Hold on, let me
voiceover
turn
talent
this off
today?
here.
Well,
Okay, so we may want to. I don't want you to be promoting so many things that people get confused. So what is it that you mainly want? What's the main pitch, or what's the primary pitch? Let's put it that way.
Well, the primary pitch will be my playbook because it really is an expanded version of what I'll be doing tomorrow night.
Okay, and so that is this right here
You got it.
that we have on the screen, which is in nearly
It's a
4 hours of
$247
video.
product.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just say it's a $247 product.
Got it. Okay, so that's the primary pitch. So now have you decided again where you may want to tease people at the beginning of this with some kind of a tease at beginning, because we got first off, it's challenging enough. I've got now 12 less than 20 people now, 12 13 on this webinar, and there were 120 people signed up. So challenge number one is getting those people who said they would come to show up. Challenge number two is pitching the people that show up effectively. And one of the things you want to do is to tease it at the beginning to keep them on till the end. So what are you going to say to them that will make them remain enraptured until minute 52?
That I'll be giving $100 in cash to everyone who lasts to the very end. No, it's a good question. I guess I just assumed that they would be enraptured, but maybe not.
Well, I mean, I think your dynamic personality may be stellar, but we still have to think about what is the possibility that some people might be cooking omelets and need to get up and get off.
Right. The way it's set up right now, and I don't think this is really a tease, but that people have been submitting a lot of questions, and I'll be doing a question and answer thing at the end where I address their questions
Okay, so
specifically.
their specific questions. So the first thing you want to say is, and by the way, we had a number of people submit questions, and I am going to take the time at the very end of this webinar to answer your specific questions when we get there.
Yeah. Now, whether that's a strong enough of a tease to hold them, I don't know, but I've had a lot of response to that.
Okay, well, let's try it this way and let's see how many people. So you've had 80 people express an interest, right?
Right.
And by the way, here's a great example of the fact that you now have 300 opt-ins, which is not that many, and we've got revenue coming from this group.
Yeah, yeah, we do. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So now here's my next question for you. What are the latest stats on Google for the various terms? So for voice over business, I know you were last time I looked, you were at number 10 in Google, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I would have to look. I would have to go through. I have to look those up individually. I don't have those numbers.
Okay. What about latest stats on from the from Google Analytics?
I know I had 276, I believe, visits this past week, and that's the only thing I have immediately available to you. I don't know what the other stats.
Yeah. Now I remember from looking at those stats yesterday sometime that you were getting now close to 80% of your visitors from SEO, from organic search.
Okay.
Which
that sounds good.
Yeah, it is. And so now let's ask. I guess the next logical thing to ask about is when does Ermel claim that everything's going to start to kick in big time?
Well, we just got off the phone a while ago, and as soon as I guess Stanley is moving the website over to my hosting account.
Yep.
And when that is moved to my hosting account, then he'll back that up and then swap in the new site for that. So he said if Stanley hadn't contacted him yet, but he said if he does today, that it'll be there when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, and let's send Stanley an email saying that you're anxious. Copy it to me, saying you're anxious to get this done ASAP, and let's get on it.
We walked through the site. It looks really nice. I'm very excited.
And what did you like about it? So now
I like that. The whole. You talk about this a lot. Having one singular focus. What is your end game? And above the fold, I mean, when that page opens up, it is all for the opt-in. Everything points to the opt-in. So it's very clean. There's some really nice-looking testimonials right underneath that with some great graphics of my credits. So it builds credibility and points to the opt-in.
Got it. And so what's going to happen is hopefully we're going to start to get a flood of traffic coming up that you're going to convert into opt-ins, and then you've got autoresponders set up as well, right?
Correct.
Okay, and so now the beauty is that you also now will have on your products page, let's just go to voice-over just to see the old site, which we will miss dearly. Okay, so here,
that site.
What's that?
I said it's been a good site.
It has been a good site. So from here, when we click on products, it'll have, will we have links to all the various different things?
Yeah, it will. Instead of breaking it down into the categories, it lists, as you had suggested, just lists all the products one after the other. And then you click, if I'm not mistaken, we'll click on it, and then it will go to a description, and then we'll go to the website corresponding with each product. So I still have some work to do on my own on that end to make sure I have a website for each one.
Got it. So now, how many products, if I asked you, okay, so Bill, how many total things can you sell to people as of today? It would be the voice-over playbook videos, right?
Right.
And those are 247. Correct. It would be what else? The audios.
Audiobook
seminar.
Right, seminar. And that also is 247.
Okay. And what else?
I've got my 2 upcoming events. Would you consider those products?
Sure.
I mean, those are, it really can now, it moves on into coaching type stuff. So I have 2 upcoming events.
And those 2 upcoming, how much are those events and what's the maximum number of people?
8, it's going to be 8 max for each. We'll try that out and see how that goes. See if it's worth trying to squeeze more in next time.
Yep.
For the marketing, for the audiobook it's going to be $12.97.
Okay.
And the marketing event is $9.97. The reason and difference is I'm actually producing a demo for each participant of the audiobook event.
So this one here, the $12.97 includes a demo.
Correct.
Got it.
Value
And
add.
so that's a lot of value there.
Yeah, it really is.
So if we assume that we get 8 people to show up, we got close to 10 grand in revenue, right?
Correct.
And yeah, so that's good. Now, when will those sites be ready to promote that?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. Very soon. That's on my to-do list.
Okay. Now, now with those sites to promote the live events, you're going to make it look very similar, I would imagine, to audiobookseminar.com, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
this is going to be your template, if you will, for these.
Yes, it will. As a matter of fact, today, I just went in a couple hours ago, and if you look at this, I've updated the text on it to reflect the new seminar, but there's some things on it that I don't know how to change, and I've contacted Dave Hamilton. I sent him an email a while ago, asked if I want him to coach me through it so I can do it myself in the future.
Wait, now tell me, what can't you change?
Okay, well, for instance, here's something I don't know how to link this to the back end, to my new merchant account and my web marketing magic. I have no clue how to do that.
So in other words, when people press buy.
Yeah, and I don't know how to change the price down there. And yeah, that is totally eludes me.
Right here, right now, this is all being done in PayPal.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, any changes to this are a PayPal function. You could go into your PayPal account and click on merchant services, I think it is. Avish, help me with this. Do you know how to do this?
I don't. I don't use PayPal for much other than just one way of accepting payment.
Yeah, now I've seen this done recently where, Bill, this is actually a PayPal function. You may want to go into your PayPal account and check this, but as it relates to linking this to Web Marketing Magic, what you're going to have to do, it'll be a link-based system, and it's actually pretty easy to do. So yeah, I would suggest you have Dave coach you on it once to show you how to do it.
I'll video record that, and then kind of teach a man to fish kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yes.
So I have done that. If you can look at that, that is updated, except for I can't change the heading either. I looked through all the pages, when I log into the admin panel, and I can't figure out how to access that red text.
This red text here?
Yeah.
Avish, any ideas on this? This looks like we're doing this, the underlying piece here is Optimized Press, right? The template? You're not sure?
I don't know.
Let me see here. Avish, does it look like Optimized Press to you? It does to me.
It does to me. That doesn't necessarily mean it is, but it does look like it.
Okay,
In which case, there's one of the fields under the page. Optimized Press on that page at the bottom has 30 different subsections of things you can edit, and so one of those would be the headline. Gotcha.
My suggestion would be, Bill, to talk to Dave, but accumulate all your questions in advance so you can knock them out with him one after the other.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, once you do that, the nice thing is you'll be able to slam up these different kinds of seminars. Because again, now let's talk about, for you, Bill, and then we'll get to Avish, let's talk about what is what's the maximum number. So the maximum number of days per month that you would like to do either seminars or one-on-one coaching.
Well, I can tell you this. I would like to do, and actually I have my first 2 quarters planned. I want to do 1 event per quarter. That's my goal for this next year. So 4 events. See how that goes.
Yep.
And I've got, again, the first 2 quarters are planned, so that's kind of nice.
Yep.
In terms of the one-on-one 3-day, I'm looking at 5 max. I mean, if I could get 5, that would just be,
Well, let's categorize. These are events here. Let's make that the event. Right. But what about so any of those smaller things from 1 to say 5 people? How many total days in a quarter or in a year would you want to have those?
I'm thinking about once a quarter, like so maybe up to 5, but I can't imagine doing more than 5 or so in a year.
Okay, so in other words, now let's do this based on days rather than on.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So how many total days would you want to devote to this smaller, almost one-on-one coaching, but one on few, let's say?
I'd say maybe 12.
Okay, so let's say 12, so that'd be one a month. So for next year then, we're looking at a total of say 15 days of either events or smaller events or one-on-one coaching, right?
Right, right.
And again, they're right in there without even any products, depending on which of these events sells. That's going to be a pretty nice chunk of revenue. I would think that. So if we were setting some goals for you for next year, because there's somebody on the call right now who I spoke to earlier today, Jeff Greco, and Jeffrey is curious. You may talk to him at some point. And Avish, by the way, he lives in Philly. So I'm going to have him.
Oh, nice.
His name is Jeffrey Greco. He's a new person. And
Okay.
Jeffrey lives in, is it Jeffrey in the question area? Send me what town you're in. He's right outside Philly. Is it Blue? I want to say Bluebell, but I don't know if that's right. Is that a city near Philly, Avish? Bluebell, yeah.
Yeah, Bluebell's like,
Is that
half
close?
hour, 45 minutes out of the city.
Okay, cool. So he's going to try and maybe get together with you at some point. But I'm trying to figure out and give Jeffrey some idea here too. If you were, Bill, back to you, if you were sort of projecting for next year, what would be your lowest acceptable and your target dollar amount generated from the info products business?
My lowest acceptable. Let's see here. I would say on the low end. I mean, I think double what we did this year. I think 20,000 would be
Okay.
the low. My target would be closer. I would like to shoot for 50,000.
Okay. Cool. And I think that's what's that?
That's a pretty broad range, I know, but
Yeah, I that's fine, but I also think though that in the year in 2013, I think this number is going to possibly go up, even not exponentially, but I think it'd be no reason to assume you can't generate 100,000. And in 2014, I don't see any reason why you can't generate 250. I mean, do you?
keep going, keep going. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think what I'm getting per person is pretty. I mean, I'm very excited. I mean, I feel like I'm maximizing each opt-in.
Yeah. Now, one of the ways that you're doing that again is you're making use of the Cool Video tool pretty extensively, even for this upcoming webinar, right?
Absolutely, yeah. As a matter of fact, I was sending them out just before I got on this call, and part of for my new opt-ins, I'm also promoting the webinar at the same time.
Got it. So he's not only are you going to be do you use the video email when people, and this is when people respond and opt in, but you're also using the webinar tool within there to do the webinar.
Yeah, and it's very cool.
And you've been using it now. I mean, you've practiced on it, correct?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, my daughter, who's my assistant, we set it up today. We're checking lighting and everything.
And how's it look?
It looks really nice.
So then why don't you do this also? Can you please record that using ScreenFlow?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, good. And by the way, when is that? That's tonight at what time?
It's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow
night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. It'd be like 5 o'clock your time.
Okay, well, just record it in case I can't be on it, but I'd like to see what it looks like.
I'll get you a link, and also I've had people from around the world tell me they can't, because it's the middle of the night, like in Europe or wherever, and they're asking for a recording. So I'll make sure I get it recorded.
Well, tell them if it's important enough, they'll get up.
That's right.
So anyway, stay with me if you can, Bill. I know you've got plenty of work to do, but if you can, stay. Avish, let's switch to you, and let's go to Speaking Expert. And see here. And again, I think, by the way, stay on, Bill, because Avish is going to be telling us all about his January event. So, Avish, why don't we talk to people about that?
Yeah, if you there's a half-done web page you can go to if you want to bring it up. It's got a lot of placeholder stuff in there, but if you want to see
yeah, let's see it.
So after that, type Speaking Expert Teleseminar.
So, and then after this, I'm going to show you guys, I've got a a site that I'm putting up as well. I'll talk to you about a few things here too. Okay, cool. So this is getting people, tell people what's going on here.
All right, this is going to be a 7-part teleseminar series, similar to something I did for my motivational smartass site.
I like
which
it.
just finished up, and
It's all Avish all the time.
that's pretty much what it's supposed to be. So, as I said, there is some placeholder
Yeah.
stuff in there, right?
So you're going to drop in
So
every week. There's going to be a different expert speaking, correct?
yeah, so we picked a semi-targeted. It's not like super niche, but it's niched enough in that it's for speakers. It's specifically for speakers who are either wanting to get their business started or they're pretty new and they're struggling. So it's really how do you it's focused on the early stages of how do you build something that's going to be successful and sustainable and profitable in the long term. And 7 weeks, each one covering a different topic. Now, there's definitely stuff we've left out because, again, we've got a very specific focus. And rather than have me and Fred do all 7 calls, we're going to have a different expert on each one. So Fred and I will be an expert for 1 each, and then we'll have 5 others. And the goal of that is it's twofold. Number one of the primary ones from a marketing standpoint is we're going to have 5 other people marketing out to their lists and their Facebook and Twitter. So it's just a way of really expanding the reach. And each of those people is going to get an affiliate link. So anyone who signs up through them, they get 50%. So they can make some money. Plus, they'll get some cross exposure because, if expert number 1 sends someone, they'll get to see all 6 people's profiles. So that's goal number 1. Number 2 is I think it makes it a little more enticing for an attendee, especially for people who've been on mine or Fred's list for a long time. Maybe part of it is they know us, so that'll be enticing, but they're like, oh, not only will I learn from these guys, but I'm going to get 5 other perspectives as well. So the second goal is to make it more appealing to people who are on our list by going outside of what we traditionally do.
Yeah.
So,
now, Avish, let me ask you then, what's the date for this so people that are listening right now can put it down on the calendar because it's free to do it live, right?
Yeah, there are 2 options. One is that you can sign up for free, in which case you'll get the phone number every week we do this so you can listen into the call live. And the second option is paid, where not only do you get the number to listen in, but you get the recordings of the calls, the transcriptions, as well as however many bonuses we can solicit from everybody.
Yeah, cool.
And I haven't locked a date in yet, but I think the first week will either be the last week in January or the first week in February.
Yeah, and when so if you're on this particular webinar and want to know about that, how will people be finding out, Avish?
That's a good question. I need a set URL. If they really want to find out, if they go to the speakingexpert.com website and opt into the list there, I'm obviously going to announce details there, or subscribe to the Speaking Expert blog.
Speaking of that, how many people do we have on the opt-in list for that site?
That's a good question. I don't know. Check the exact numbers. It's somewhere between 500 and 600.
Okay.
Well, there's 2 questions. There's how many people have opted in specifically to that site versus how many people are on the mailing list for speaking information.
Got it. Okay, so cool. So, but the formula here is, and it's been used before, it's not like we invented it, is that you're going to be doing a 7-week teleseminar. People can listen live for free, or they can sign up and do the paid, which the paid is going to be how much?
$97.
$97. And for that, they're going to get a whole bunch of other things, bonuses and stuff, so they're going to feel like that's a heck of a great deal.
Correct.
Good. Okay. I like that. What else are we finding on the... By the way, I noticed your Google Analytics numbers had gone down this last week.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I'm not sure why.
How much blogging activity did you do?
It was a little bit less. I think instead of 2 or 3, I did like 1 because I was focused on getting this up.
Yeah, I have a feeling that the blogging helps that, but I think that the other thing that we can do is we can learn a lot from some of the stuff that Bill DeWeese is doing too, and so Bill, you can obviously, there's going to be things that we can sort of borrow. Obviously we can't do all the back end stuff that Irmel's got all of his minions working on, but there's a lot of stuff that we can see just from looking at Bill's site. And one of the things, Avish, that I notice immediately, and obviously there's something to the secret sauce in here, is if you go back here, look at what Bill now has, all of these links here that are SEO terms, correct, Bill?
Yeah, well, actually, some of them correspond with the 12 we're working on now, some don't. So this will be updated.
Got it, okay. But eventually, the 12 target terms that you have, all of those will probably have some place right in here, right?
Yeah, I mean, a very prominent place, yes.
Got it, okay. And so, Avish, when we go back to Speaking Expert, we don't have that, do we?
I don't think we have the categories across the top like that with the keywords. So
yeah, so I think the categories with the keywords are probably pretty instrumental in having that help, and we've heard that before, I think. Mm-hmm. Okay, so sounds good. Then what else? Any other thoughts? So let me quickly tell you guys, if let me just show you what I'm doing here. I want to show you some of the real numbers here so you can see them with actually it's kdp.amazon.com. Okay, so we're now at about just at about halfway through the month. And here's my report on all my Kindle sales. And it's a total, when you take all of them there, it totals about 50. 15 plus 15 is 30, 31, 34, 40, 42, 43, 48, 50 exactly. Just I got one more since I checked it last. So there are 50 sales of different ebooks at different prices. Now obviously the main reason, and Bill, I mean, Avish has been working on this a little bit. This is another project for getting people in the door at no or low cost. In all of these situations, some of these, Kindle, they're called ebooks, but this one, for example, the one that sold 15 units is only, if we go and I can show you guys that on Amazon itself. So on Amazon itself, this particular information marketing made easy in Kindle Store. So there it is. This site, if you click on it, so what people have bought is, notice here, a 2,000 word article. So again, for 99 cents, 2,000 words doesn't sound like a bad deal to most people, evidently. So a Kindle book, it's kind of a misnomer here, because now watch what happens, and this is important. And Avish, you're doing this, but Bill, I don't think you have yet, so watch. So if I click to look inside here, here's what I find. I find the title page, blah, blah, blah. But the next thing that you find right here is this. Find out more about the author by visiting fredgleeck.com, and to get your free information marketing course worth $397, go to this link, and it's a clickable link. Now, so like we said, I think last week, there are a lot of people who, even for 99 cents, may not buy, but they will at least download a sample. And that sample is within the first 10%, and it includes, so see, this is where the sample cuts out, right here. It cuts out, though, in time for me to get this message across, which includes this link, which, by the way, is clickable. So what we're doing here is selling something short and quick and relatively cheap. But again, Bill, you could develop a whole series of short articles anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 words, throw a cover on them. And by the way, the guy that I use for the cover is some guy on Fiverr that I got 2 covers for $5.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking big money here. And so this person, so if I go to Fred Gleeck in the Kindle store, you'll see some of the things that he's put together. These are not his work; these were custom done. But down here, these are all his. Look at this, that one right there. 35 seminar marketing checks. This Kindle Money Magic here. He designed that cover. That one is not his. This one was designed by a Fiverr guy. and this was another one of mine. That's Avisha's. This is a Fiverr guy here. How to double or triple, and it's sort of tough to see there, but it's again, it's not the best cover in the world, but it certainly helps to sell them. So something that you can be doing there, Bill, as well.
I have 3 transcriptions specifically for this purpose. I just haven't finalized them yet.
Okay. Well, when you get ready to do that, those transcriptions, how long are those transcriptions?
Well, I mean, most of them are between like 1,200 to 1,500 words.
Okay, good.
So
yeah,
I need to add to that.
Yeah, so you can use transcriptions. I mean, I don't really think it's a problem for you to, to use something that's 12 or 1,500 words. The only time there's a problem is if people don't clearly state it, because most people think of a book as being much longer. But if you lay it out to them like I have here, when I say to them, look, guys, where is it now? When I say to people in the description here, I'm not trying to lie or deceive them here. I say this is a 2,000 word article. So, I mean, people, they can see what it is they're getting. There's no hidden message here, right? It's only 21 kilobytes. I mean, for goodness sake, it's not big. But people, again, are going there, got some reviews, everything. So there's a bunch of stuff here that, now, let me tell you why this is important. First off, I'm committed to doing at least one of these. I'm trying to do 2 a month for the next 12 months. So I want to have just a boatload of stuff up on the Kindle store, so that I am all over the place. I'm ubiquitous, and if you think about it, I'm not trying to really make money. So when we talk about the Kindle, use transcriptions. Don't try and make the money on the front end. We're trying to make it so people buy these and they get seduced into getting everything else that I have by coming back to the site and getting free stuff. So that's what the real purpose is. And the other thing, which I think I brought up last week as well, is if one person buys, anywhere between 10 to 20 people will download a sample. Now, did you hear that last week, Bill? I don't think you were on.
I did not, no. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I got that data from someone who's a real knowledgeable Kindle expert that I interviewed, Nancy Hendrickson, whose interview, by the way, for those of you watching this, is up on the site under free webinar, free teleseminars. I forget where it is. It's somewhere on my site. If you just put it in the site directory and search for Nancy Hendrickson, her interview with me via audio was really good on that, as well as a guy named Joshua Talent, Tallent. So you can search if you want more information on this, folks. Go to Nancy Hendrickson on fredgleeck.com and listen to that free thing. Or Joshua, again, use the search button on my site, Tallent, again, on fredgleeck.com. Now, here's what I've done also. So the idea here is to be all over Kindle. Why? Because Amazon is one of the most searched, the heaviest traffic, one of the most heavily trafficked sites on the internet. So we want to have something there. But we also, I'm thinking, and this is what I came up with, and Avish, you haven't seen this yet. So now what I've also done is I've asked Stanley to help me come up with a template for this. And my URL for it is kindlemoneymagic.com. And so what I'm doing, and this site is not ready yet either, but each of my ebooks of any length is going to have a site like this. And here's the reason. If you notice, this is basically going to be a sales page. There's going to be a picture of the book on Amazon. There's going to be a little video of me talking about it. And then it's going to have the standard, stuff here, testimonials, et cetera, et cetera. And all of this is just placeholders. Nobody can buy anything on here yet. But the other thing that it's going to do is it's going to have a blog. And that blog is going to have a bunch of content. And now, Bill, I think I shared this with you, and Avish, I don't think I shared it with you. Did I share with you? And by the way, I'm not endorsing this site. I don't know anything about it because they haven't done anything for me yet. But contentdevelopmentpros.com. Here is a place, presumably based here in the United States, that will produce content for you. So think about it. I want to produce a blog having to do with something, and I say, you know what, I'm just too busy, can't do that. So I click on blog posts, and this company here will do the following. If you go down to their page here, they'll do 10 blog posts of 300 words or 10 blog posts of 400 words here for 119 bucks. It's about 10 bucks a blog post. And they have bigger packages as well. So that if you wanted to, and Bill and Avish, I mean, this is something that, the blogging, I'm not sure, but there's other things that they can do here as well. For example, I got a quote from them. As a step parent, I've been taking some notes on what works and what doesn't, and I'm putting together an ebook on that title. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've got all the sort of the chapter outlines, but I don't really want to do it myself. Well, you could do it here, and look at the prices on these ebooks. And this, now remember, this is, if you can't read it here, it's as low as 10 bucks, $9.95 per 500 word page. So that's 500 words for $10. So if you wanted to do an ebook of 100 pages, which is basically 50,000 words, you can get it done for under $1,000 with these guys. Now, let me just tell you what. I have looked around on their site to see the quality of the writing on their site, and frankly, it leaves something to be desired. But at $1,000 for 50,000 words of content, it's kind of tough to beat that. Bill, any thoughts?
Do you just give them like the general topic, and then they go research it? And
well, let me show you. Let me show you what they say. Here's what they say. So custom ebooks, it says. Now, the thing that impressed me about these guys, let's read through this a second. Completely ghostwritten, all rights transferred to you. So it's a work for hire. Free cover page design, who cares? Well written, 100% original content. Written on your specific topic or table of contents, according to your exact requirements. Turnaround time within 2 weeks. Here's the one that got me. Unlimited revisions. Unlimited revisions.
Whoa.
To me, that's a pretty ballsy, kind of thing to say there. Proofing by our in-house experts, 0 mistakes guaranteed. And so this is pretty interesting. So how it works. Process is easy. Place your order. Provide us details if you already have a pre-written. So, Bill, you could come up with an outline, a pre-written table of contents, or they'll put one together for you. Step 3 says, upon completing the first chapter, we'll send it to you. Once approved, we'll work on the remaining parts of the book. Your book or ebook is delivered to you on time. Further revision is immediately undertaken if asked for. You have your completed ebook.
Wow.
So what questions do you have on them? We could start a live chat. So point is, check this out. And again, I'm not endorsing these guys. Frankly, some of the samples of their work that I saw, were so-so. I mean, I actually caught some weird kind of verbiage, but with these kind of guarantees of unlimited revisions, and that's what got me.
I gotta check this out.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole point is, if you're the hardest working man in the voiceover business, like Bill DeWeese is, you just don't have time to do some of this stuff. You'd rather pay for it, right, Bill?
It's my biggest challenge. Absolutely.
And so there you have it. I mean, that's the whole thing, is that, whoops, increase the volume a little bit here. I think that it's important that we look into having other people create content for us. And Avish, imagine if you were to create, what I'm trying to do is, I like the idea of creating these tips books. And by tips books, I mean something that is, 77 ways to blah, blah, blah. 77 ways to be a better step parent. 77 ways to get into the voice, or to succeed in the voiceover business. In other words, all those kinds of books, which can be fairly easily written for you. And again, everything on this site is basically 10 bucks per 500 words. They also do web copy, and again, I don't know how good this is. Articles, press releases, SEO content. Let's take a look at this. SEO content packages fresh website content, new articles, monthly press releases. So they have this whole thing, and here's how it works, and here's what it costs. 15 pages per month. I mean, again, I don't know how well they're going to do this, but I'm certainly going to test it. Avish, your thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm certainly excited to have you test it and let us know how it goes, because I mean, that's really the question, is just how well it's going to work, right? I mean, if it works well, that's.
Yep, and I'm thinking that with I'm going to test it on some of my other stuff, because here's my idea. Like with this Kindle Money Magic thing, this is a site I'm putting up for myself, and I'm directing people to Amazon. So when people click on this, I don't know if Stanley has it set up yet, but when people click to order, they're going to go to Amazon, because what I really want to have happen is I want to have all of my stuff at the very, very top of Amazon in the Kindle ebook section for all of the various tags and keywords. But again, this, none of this is happening yet. And so what I usually do, and again, just for the benefit of some of the people like Jeffrey who are on the call, who want to know sort of my process, what I usually do is I usually end up serving as the guinea pig for all the JV partners, just like I did with the transcription that was going to be turned into a book, which worked poorly, to say the least. I was all excited because I got this gal to take a transcript and to create a book from it, and it sucked. So I can't. Well, it was $250 too. So these guys are a whole lot more than that. But I think that this is going to be worth doing. But I think that if you had a way to do this, if you're going to go to the content development pros here, what I would do is you could create an ebook and call it an ebook, right? And since they're doing this for $9.95 per 500 word page, if you could make it, you tell them, okay, I want to have 77 topics. Let's make it easy. Make it 100 topics. And so they're going to be 500 words on page. That's going to be 50,000 words. That's this package for $1,000. For $1,000, you've got a pretty fat, meaty book. And it's, then you could take that ebook, you could cut it up into pieces and create blog posts out of it because they're in a tips format. I think there's a lot of good stuff that can come out of this. So not only do you sell it then as an ebook, you would then sell each of the tips individually, or put up each of the tips individually as a blog post. And conceivably, you could have 3 blog posts going up a week for the next year on automatic pilot.
Gee, sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool, isn't it, Bill?
Very cool. It's my biggest challenge. The thing I'm most excited about is the content, but it's the thing that I find the most frustration in, because it's just the time involved. And if these guys, like Avish said, if they turn out to be legit, and not that they're not legit, but I mean good, what they do, and decent enough, then wow, this could be a real godsend.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, and let's just say that they're, if you were grading them, they were getting a B- or a C+. You could have Mallory or go in yourself and tweak it enough to make it still work out, don't you think?
Absolutely, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so me too. I'm thinking to myself, okay, so let's just say that these folks produce, let's just call it adequate content at these prices. Then, we go in and tweak it and then put it out there. And my idea is, again, for the prices that you can get for $1,000, so for $1,000, you're going to end up with a 50,000 word ebook. And if you did my idea of 100 tips, you would also end up with 100 blog posts that you could program right into WordPress to be released every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the next year. Bill, I know you're excited about that.
That's brilliant. I mean, I love it. I'm very excited about it.
And the idea here is that, you could also tell them to make sure that, each one of those, that even though it's an ebook, just to make sure that you optimize for every keyword. So if you gave them your list, Bill, from the from the list from the Google external keyword tool that we came up with of potential blog posts. Wait a second here. I'm sorry. I haven't noticed David has a question. Somebody asked a question. Oh, we got a bunch of people with questions here. Let's just let me take a few of these. Do you have to do anything special to make that link clickable in the Kindle book? No, you don't. Not to my knowledge. So EJ is asking that. Dave is asking, what criteria do you use for free books versus a 99-cent book? I use the flip a coin technique. So, basically, now the thing about it is that on the Kindle, in the Kindle store, you cannot give something away for free. Now, they will allow you to give it away for free if a competitor is pricing it as free, but that's a whole other story. Is PayPal an okay way to use on the website for people to pay? Not really. You should go to Web Marketing Magic, and the reason for that, David, is not just because I make money from that. It's because when you use PayPal as your primary source, and Bill, you can report on this, because when people signed up for your seminar through your PayPal link, did those email addresses get automatically added to your Web Marketing Magic system?
No.
The answer is no, they did not.
I mean, not when they went directly to PayPal. They had, not unless it's linked to that.
Exactly. Well, you can't do it. So, David, that's an important point, is that you want to have eventually, is there a good book title selection technique or service? Yeah, I mean, your book title selection should be based on your keyword research that you do from the Google external keyword tool, which if you don't know where that is, you just Google it. So you go here to Google and you put in Google external keyword tool, it comes up. And so then we go to this, and make sure, by the way, that when you go to the Google external keyword tool, that you do this. Notice up in the top right here, you're able to sign in. Always sign in, because if you sign in with your Google account, then you'll put your word or your word phrase in here, you'll enter all the CAPTCHA stuff, and you'll be able to get a list. That list that you get will be the list of, you will hopefully use that list to create your book titles. Kindle Money Magic was not really done that way. I just looked at what people, I know there are a lot of people on, doing Kindle books. And by the way, one of the other things is that everyone here, anyone listening and people in our group, are going to want to create the syndicate like I talked about, I think, last time, which is we want to make sure that the best way to get your Kindle book sales going, to Kindle it, to create the kindling for that process. So Kindle book sales depends on two things. Number one is sales. So in other words, if it's selling, they move it up. And also reviews. And again, we don't want to have all 5-star reviews, because all 5-star reviews looks like a setup. If you have, and in fact, my ideal, and I think I talked about this last time, I think I would like 17 5-stars or 16 5-stars, let's say. I'll go with 16. This would be my ideal scenario if I could structure it. 3 4-stars, and I'd have 1 1-star. And why would I want that? Because I want people to start attacking the person that gave 1 star. So somebody who gave 1 star, I'd say, I want everybody else coming back at him saying, you're a jerk, that's baloney, you're probably a competitor, this stuff is better than you, etc., etc. Because for me, I would click first on the 1-star review to say, what is this outlier saying here? But again, that's a couple questions from David here. Now, there's a... doesn't a good book make a difference versus a bad book? Absolutely. So, and there's a key reason for that, which is, when you go through my 7 steps in information marketing that you can find on my main site, the last step is get people to buy and buy more often. If you're getting people to buy and buy more often, there's only one way to get people to buy more often, which is to give them good stuff. You give them a crappy book, they won't buy anymore, and they'll tell all their friends, and they'll put crappy reviews for you on Amazon. So there is a difference between a good book and a bad book. The question is, if Bill DeWeese is sitting there and doesn't have the time to crank out a book, he gives it the content development pros who produce a B- to C+ product. Bill then gives it to Mallory, and when he's sipping mint juleps there in Chicago in the summer, He then
Yes, I do every day.
Well, like I think you do that every day. So yeah, he gets to then edit that sucker and try and make it as good as possible, within reason. So again, I think that there's, it's something important to do. So anyway, so there you have it. I think that that's enough for this time.